So you're running the Volkswagen operation here in Russia. Can you tell me, you've actually set up a factory. Russia has a very bad investment climate reputation. However, from talking to other people, they found that their experience in the individual regions has been very different. Have you had the same experience?
I mean, we can't share the experience that Russia has a different investment climate, to be honest. We have investigated many regions. Finally, we ended up in Kaluga as our major investment. And so far, for the last 5 years, since we've been there, it's running really well. I mean,
why did you choose Kaluga?
Certainly several factors. I mean, as you always do, you have this list of criteria, and then you choose. I think one of the main reasons, of course, was it was rather close to Moscow, so accessibility was good
to the market.
To the market, but also for the people, and secondly, we found the best support from the local government there. I mean, it was just. What you always call easy to deal with. I mean, I mean, in the beginning, of course, you always you don't know really what you buy, but we trusted the people, and so far we have never been disappointed by the local government.
Because they've been very aggressive and proactive. I mean, I understand the region itself invested heavily in all the supporting infrastructure, and from that point of view, I mean, again, people complain about the sort of low quality of infrastructure in Russia. Yet, if you go on a region by region basis, is it up to world standard, or is it need a lot of work? Or
I think what we experienced in Kaluga and what we got in Kaluga is up to world standard. I mean, it's not different from what we get in Mexico or in China or anywhere else. I mean, we got all the utilities, we got the space, and everything was well dealt with there.
The 2008 crisis hit Russian automotive sector particularly hard. I mean, the production was cut in half from year to year. Now the economy seems to be in remission and sales are rising. What's your prognosis for the Russian market going forward? I mean, there's all this talk about Russia overtaking Germany within the next couple of years to become the largest market.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I've shown that in the conference just now. Russia, simply by the metrics, by the number of people and the age of the car park and the number of cars per inhabitant, will overtake Germany. So on the long term, and the metrics are perfect for Russia. And as I said, we estimate 3.5 million cars by 2018. Of course, as much as the long-term outlook is certain in Russia, on the short term, it's always you always need strong nerves, right? Because it can crash as we had it in 2008, but it will come back up. So we are confident on the long-term outlook. Of course, we can't tell you exactly what's happening next year, maybe, but we are confident.
Now, there's a certain amount of political uncertainty at the moment, and like you say, the Russian market's very volatile. However, you know, over the last 15 years, it's been getting progressively more of a normal country. I mean, just the car ownership, I think, is indicative of that. I mean, to what extent do you think that Russia's future is dependent, A, on the politics and the Kremlin's will to reform, and B, the oil markets?
I think the question B is more easy to answer because, of course, for the time being, Russia depends very much on the oil markets and on the gas markets and the prices. But I think, especially in the automotive industry, Russia shows that they're getting more independent of that because due to the changes in legislation with Decree 166 and 566, they're really able to establish an industry, and this will become much stronger in future. And therefore, I'm quite positive that the dominance of oil and gas will go away over time. The political question is more difficult, but honestly, I think it's difficult to manage a country like that. So, all my respect to the government and to the people who take that responsibility. But in the long run, I think over generations, maybe next generation already, we will see all of that also normalizing, becoming more and more as we.
Well, isn't the development of the automotive sector itself a manifestation of the very diversification that the government's talking about, and here it is in action.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when they always say that not much is happening, it's not actually true, because you see it in the automotive sector that a lot is happening. A lot of companies are localizing, a lot of companies are creating workplaces and create employment. So there is a lot of movement going on.
People are drawing this comparison between Russia's market and German market. Could you say that there's anything that characterizes the differences between the two? I mean, typically here it seems the Russians are buying sort of middle-range C saloons, whereas, say, in Germany, they tend to be more expensive, or is that not true?
I mean, a comparison between the Russian and the German market is only ever done because it's about who is the biggest in Europe and when will Russia overtake Germany. I don't think on any other base there is really a comparison. We have certainly, as you alluded to, we have totally different car sizes. We have different price ranges. Here you have a classic sedan market. Germany is a wagon market, much more, or a hatch market. So I don't think there is a lot of commonalities between the two markets, other than of course they're competing for being the biggest in Europe.
How would you characterize the stage of development that Russia's at now? I mean, clearly it's not stepping off square one, but are we halfway through the process, or are we just coming into a fast growth
through
period?
Which process?
Through until the market reaches maturity. I mean, you could say the German market is saturated. This market clearly is not.
No, it's clearly not. I think we can really look into another 6, 7, 8 years of growth until we sort of reach some saturation there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, I'd just like to ask you 3 short questions for short answers. What year do you think Russia will overtake Germany to become the largest market?
2017.
And the hybrids and electric cars, do you think the future of the automotive sector belongs to those?
In Russia or globally?
Both.
Both. Globally, I think yes. A hybrid, definitely. Electric is still some time out, because the technology is not proven at all, and I think also we need to look at the total environmental impact also of the batteries, etc., etc. So that will take some time. I think in Russia we have, before all this needs to be discussed, we have to make some other steps first. I mean, we need to really now get Euro 3, 4, 5 here in Russia and really manage the environmental emission standards before we think about hybrid and electric and things like that.
And Russia's accession to the WTO, was that a good thing for the automotive sector or a bad thing?
I think it's a very good thing because Russia is lacking competitiveness in the automotive sector on the production side, and especially also on the supplier side. And with this pressure, this external pressure, that will give Russia the time or the chance to develop, but also the time, because I think there is a transition time, so this time will give the chance to really develop.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome.